Hi everyone, so let's triple here. So at the time of this recording, all 48 teams at the ongoing 2026 FIFA World Cup have played their matches. So if there was any lingering doubt or denial in the minds of any Super Eagles fans, it just got real. The party has started and Nigeria is not invited. Get used to it. Naturally, this has led to a conversation as to how the Super Eagles would have fared had they gotten to the World Cup. Of course, there were two opportunities for Nigeria to qualify. Had they beaten Lesotho, for instance, in Rio, they would have been in Group A and they would have contested the opening game against co-host Mexico. Had they gone through the playoffs and dispatched with DR Congo, they would have been in Group K in place of the Leopards, obviously. So those were two opportunities that were flunked. There really is no way to resolve this what if scenario. I have my own thoughts on that, but I won't speculate here. If you want to know what I think, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. What I can't speak to, however, is the growing sentiment online. Following creditable performances by Morocco and Senegal and DRC's draw against Portugal, there is this talking point online which goes something like this. Nigeria would not have been able to hold on against the likes of Portugal and Brazil. So based on that, somehow Nigeria lags behind in competitive level compared to other African teams. Now, this is something I've seen a lot of and something that I think I need to push back on. First of all, I no blame una. That was a person I blame. It was saying beats Lesotho for we all know this is for not happen. But on a serious note, I feel that the real problem here is that we have short memories. Cast your mind back to the last time we saw the Super Eagles in a competitive context. Going into the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, very few people gave Nigeria any kind of chance of making a deep run. And you could understand why. I mean, they were coming off the World Cup qualifiers in which they had labored and ultimately fallen short. So very few people really expected Nigeria to do anything, especially considering that in addition to failing to qualify, the quality of football in those qualifiers has been very, very hit and miss. So Nigeria came into the AFCON with no expectations of particularly impressing. And yet, when the tournament actually kicked off, we saw something completely different. This Super Eagles team was dynamic, it was quick, it was aggressive, it was full of attacking intent, attacking flair, full of goals, decimating all before it. So what changed? I'll tell you what. Focus and camping. With the benefit of less than a fortnight's worth of targeted preparation, as well as a clear goal to latch onto, we saw the very best of this crop of Super Eagles players, a team that we had never seen before. Now, since then, with no World Cup to look forward to and nothing but friendlies, we have not seen them hit quite the same level. And this is understandable. We've had a lot of absences, some due to injury, some for voluntary reasons, and we've not seen the very best of the Super Eagles. However, this should not lead us to forget just how good this team was not that long ago, and also should not allow us underestimate how much better this team could have gotten if they had a World Cup in view. To use a boxing analogy, taking over in the gym and doing a proper fight camp are two very different things. Had Nigeria had a World Cup to look forward to, what we would have seen would have been a team building upon the gains of a bronze medal finish at the AFCON and arriving in the United States ready to compete at an even higher level. Look at it this way. Since the AFCON ended, we have seen no sign of Victor Osimhen in the Super Eagles shirt. And in the last couple of friendlies, Ademola Lookman excused himself. Understandable after a difficult season. But do we really think we would have players pulling out of matches if there was a World Cup coming up? Come on, think about it. Now, if you need some examples, let's look at them. Morocco, for instance, who are being praised for their play against Brazil, sacked their long-standing coach Walid Regragui a few months ago for a style of play that was perceived to be too defensive. They brought in Mohamed Wafi, and with the benefit of a few matches to prepare, he already has Morocco looking slick in possession and aggressive going forward. I mean, they outpossession Brazil. Now, that's just one. Let's look at another. Egypt, who we beat to third place at the Africa Cup of Nations. Look at them at the World Cup. They were impressive against Belgium, arguably could have won. Cape Verde did not qualify for the AFCON at all, but then they turn up at the World Cup and they hold the pre-tournament favourites Spain to a goalless draw. There is just something that having focus does for a team. We will never know how Nigeria would have done at the World Cup, and their absence is a true source of regret. Trust me, I feel it too. However, let us not allow ourselves to forget what we saw just 6 months ago. This is a team with a great deal of potential who showed themselves to be the equal of the very best teams in the tournament when it mattered at the AFCON. In a World Cup that has had more than its fair share of upsets, trust me when I say Nigeria would have held their own.